The Elusive Samurai takes place in Kamakura period. And yes, it's not about Oda Nobunaga, it has nothing to do with Mitsuhide, but there is betrayal. Meet Tokiyuki Hojo, who is the next successor of Kamakura shogunate, and he's only good at one thing, running away. Because he doesn't want to be like his father, a shogun with no will of his own, who is always high on fentanyls and is nothing but a figurehead. That's why he runs away with all his heart, so that the hands of filthy politicians can never take hold of him, and he really enjoys doing it. Then, one day. The saddest thing about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemies, it comes from those you trust the most. Whoever said this line is a freaking genius. Takauji Ashikaga, one of the most trusted vassal and a wolf in sheep's clothing, decided to bear its fang towards his own master, and he didn't just betray them, he massacred everyone, including women and children. This marks the end of Kamakura period and the beginning of a new one, a period in Japan's history which is filled with civil war, shifting alliance and political turmoil like never seen before.
How do you feel after that?
How the fuck you think I feel?
Tokiyuki, looking at everything burning in front of his eyes, loses all hope. Then he gets rescued by Suwa Yoshikage, who is a priest/prophet. Under his wing he will learn, grow, gather allies, and one day probably take back everything that he lost. If this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what the fuck will. This anime is about a period in Japan's history that is not that mainstream. Usually it's about Sengoku, Meiji, or Edo. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm complaining or anything, but Japan is a land filled with so much rich culture and history. And as an outsider who doesn't know much about it, it's always good to know more about lesser known eras such as Kamakura. As someone who likes history as much as me, you can keep on serving me shows like this, and I can keep on slurping on it like there is no tomorrow. But let me be clear about one thing, I only like history in the form of anime or live action, not a big fan of reading. I would like to believe that the setting of Elusive Samurai is visually representative of Japan back in the day. I mean, it has everything that you would like to see in a medieval Japan setting, like Miko, samurai, shrines, and everything else that screams at you, hey, this is what Japan used to look like back then. And I can spend hours looking around trying to find every historical inaccuracy it has. But I won't, because it does not sound very appealing. And I personally don't care even if they get few things wrong, as long as general vibe is there. That is the reason author chose Tokiyuki as the main character, rather than Ashikaga, who is more of an enigma in the annals of history, cause it gave the author more room to write his own story, rather than being binded by what's written in the history books. But you can bet your ass on one thing, that the author got absolutely right, and that is history does not look like this. It looks like this. Tokiyuki is a character like no other, or I think I should call him a samurai like no other. He flips the typical samurai narrative on its head. He's a child who acts like one. Surprising, right? A child who likes running away while avoiding his responsibilities and just likes playing around. Even after losing everything, his personality remains the same. Revenge stories often depict characters who undergo a drastic change right after something terrible happens, driven by an overwhelming thirst for vengeance and deep-seated hatred. But that is not the case here. He does seek revenge, but he's also lost and cannot think for himself. That's why he seeks guidance and support from others. The story heavily focuses on him slowly turning into a leader, rather than suddenly growing into one, and gathering allies and support, hoping to take on someone as insurmountable as Ashikaga. These aspects offer so much sympathy and relatability to his character that you cannot help but root for him. Yet he still sometimes acts dumb and carefree, as a child should. But do not take his nonchalant attitude and his cute build and think of him as a pushover, because when shits get serious, he's not afraid to drop the good guy act. Wait, did I mention he had a brother as well? No, he didn't. He's an only child. I'm sorry for that. My bad. Then there is him. One day he suddenly appeared in a young boy's life whose world turned upside down, and he was like, hey, come with me. I will make you great. Nah, no need. Get lost then. Motherfucker!
Alright, grab the kid. Grab, come on, you gotta go. Just get, it's a kid, go, guys. I got him. Ah, dude, what the fuck? You got him, my arm.
There was a misinput. Calm down. You calm the fuck down.
So, do you agree now? Do I have any other option? Nope. Fine then. He gives off massive Gojo vibes. Just like him, he acts super carefree, likes saying corny jokes and does not act according to his age. But when it comes down to it, there is no one more dependable than him. There are other notable side characters as well that I would like to talk about, but doing so would be spoiling it for you. So instead, I will talk about the most important aspect, one that made this anime gain spotlight: animation. When the first episode of Elusive Samurai dropped, it blew everyone's sock off with its stunning visual, all thanks to Cloverwork and the incredible team led by Shoto Umehara, one of the best teams in anime, because of their ability to pull off an impressive amount of Sakuga, a testament to Umehara's skill in bringing talented animators and directors onto every project he leads as a producer. If you don't know about them, let me tell you. They have worked on a lot of big projects and given us one of the most iconic scenes in recent anime. And their work in Elusive Samurai just goes to show how good they are at whatever they do. But that was only till episode 4. What is this poo-poo pee-pee dog shit? After episode 4, animation quality went down. And if you try to look as to why that happened, you won't find any official statement about the dip in quality. But if you know the current state of anime industry, it becomes very obvious why. Tight deadlines, overworked staff and all that. But the real reason animation went down is cause they spent most of their budget on making this boy look hot. The part I like most about animation is how they ingrained supernatural elements to make characters look more menacing. The creepy animation is there to resemble the darkness within the human heart. It's used in a symbolic way, not in a literal sense. So if you use a little bit of your brain, you will understand the meaning behind them. Like this one. This doesn't mean that he has multiple eyes like a housefly. It means that you cannot escape him. And this one. Other than inconsistent animation, the biggest pitfall this anime can fall into is not having characters grow at all. Let me explain. The reason so many people like Mushoku Tensei, despite him being a pervert, is cause you see his journey, where he grows from a perverted baby to a decent adult, and people get attached to that. It would not have happened if they kept Rudius a child to keep the aesthetic. Watching a character grow gets you sentimentally attached with them, and if it done right, it can do great things for a show. Also, some people seem to have problem with the tone of this show, like how they suddenly start throwing jokes after a dark scene. Personally, it does not bother me that much. It's like drinking coffee after eating dark chocolate cake. You might not notice the taste right away, but it is still good. I wonder what the internet thinks about this anime. It takes a best man to be the best girl? What? He got them bedroom eyes? Oh no, there is something really wrong with these people. Let's check Twitter. It has to be better, right? Bruh. Oh my god. What else was I expecting? Well, that's that. Apart from all this, Elusive Samurai is a really good anime. It's not the anime of the season, but it's most definitely worth your time. But you know what else is worth? This video, where I took a deeper dive into Konosuba and explained the comedic genius behind it. So make sure to watch it and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next one.
Yeah, this is fine. This isn't weird.